And here we are. I wanted to talk about the importance of using our patterns. So we already know a basic pattern game, and that is our toss the treat out, orient back to us and say yes, and toss it the other way. That can sometimes be a really good way to start training. So actually, let's see what that looks like first if we're using it on a walk, because we can use that one to move forward as well, especially good to start off with. So I'm going to toss out my treat. Yes. 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 Yes. Toss out my treat. Yes. Toss out my treat. Yes. Yes. And what are we doing there? We are using our orientation game where we toss our treat out, and then when he orients back to us after getting the treat, we say yes, then we toss another treat out. This is actually using it in this type of sense where we actually are moving the dog forward. So we're tossing a treat out, we're saying yes, they orient back to us, we toss the treat further out, say yes. So we can use it kind of back and forth where toss the treat out, yes, dog orients to us, we toss it out in a little bit of the opposite direction and say yes, they orient to us, and we're actually using this back and forth to move forward. It's a really good way to use our pattern game to start off a walk. Or once we're out on the walk, it's a good way to get our kind of on our dog's radar where they're looking back at us. Patterns, once again, patterns are very comforting to a dog. If they know the pattern, they know the structure, they know the framework of what we're doing, and a lot of times in high stress situations, they can default back to their pattern. Why is that important? Once again, it's something where if we've trained the pattern, they understand what is going on, they understand what's expected of them. All they have to do is follow the pattern and they're winning. So once again, they know if they recognize that pattern, all I'm going to ask them to do is go out and get their treat, they're going to orient back, they're going to go out and get another treat. Really easy, really awesome, and it is something that is easy for them to do when they really can't, they might not have a framework to think about much else. So that is our very first way that we're using our orientation pattern game that we've already used just for regular engagement out on a walk to start moving forward with our dog orienting back to us. We're definitely going to use more pattern games, but that is our first little one that we're using here. And let's talk about our others while we're actually on video. The other thing that we're going to use is our stop and go game. That is also a pattern. That's a pattern of treat on the ground, look up at us, move forward, treat on the ground, look up at us, move forward, using the same basic pattern of the treat toss out and back in another way. The next one we're going to start doing is a 1, 2, 3. That's where we take 1 steps and say 1, 2 step and say 2, 3 step and say 3. And then we use our marker, our end word, which is either a good, where we deliver treat to the mouth, a catch, where we toss the treat for them to catch it, a get it, where I place it on the ground for them to get it, or we can also use another modifier cue such as go to place. So those are our types of patterns. We just used our first one now, which is our engagement orientation game, but our next ones we're going to start using we'll start using a stop and go and a 1, 2, 3. The framework on all of them is the same, that if they can recognize the pattern, they are more likely to be able to do it when they can't think of much else. When they're in high stress, high anxiety, high arousal, a pattern is an identifiable framework where they know what's expected, and that makes it much easier on the dog. And that's all we're going to talk about now. Thanks, guys.